this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to start an LLC in Wyoming online, step by step, even if you've never started a business before. We're going to walk through the entire process together, including the paperwork you'll need to file, how much it costs to start an LLC in Wyoming, how long the approval process usually takes, and some of the common mistakes new business owners usually run into along the way. Now, Wyoming has become one of the most popular states for forming an LLC, especially for entrepreneurs who want a simple, affordable, and business-friendly setup. But if you've ever tried navigating government websites and legal forms before, you probably already know that even simple filings can feel a little tedious when you're not familiar with how everything works. So, in this guide, I'm going to break everything down into clear, manageable steps so you know exactly what to expect. And if you'd rather avoid the paperwork and have someone guide you through the process instead, I'll also explain why many entrepreneurs use Northwest Registered Agent to handle their LLC formation. If you want to check them out later, I do have a discount link for Northwest Registered Agent in the description and pinned comment below the video. But before we jump into the step-by-step process, it's helpful to briefly understand what an LLC actually is and why so many entrepreneurs choose this structure when starting a business. An LLC, which stands for Limited Liability Company, is one of the most common business structures used by entrepreneurs in the United States. One of the biggest reasons people choose an LLC is because it helps create a separation between the business and the individual who owns it. When someone operates a business without forming an LLC or another formal structure, they're typically considered a sole proprietor by default. In that situation, the business and the owner are legally the same entity. That means if the business ever runs into financial trouble, accumulates debt, or becomes involved in legal disputes, the owner's personal assets could potentially be exposed to those liabilities. When you form an LLC, however, the company becomes its own legal entity. This separation is what provides the liability protection that LLCs are known for, since the company is generally responsible for its own obligations rather than the individual owner. Another reason entrepreneurs prefer the LLC structure is that it tends to make the business appear more professional. Operating under a registered company name such as LLC can build credibility with clients, suppliers, and financial institutions. LLCs are also relatively flexible when it comes to taxation and management structure, which allows business owners to organize their company in a way that works best for their situation. Now that we've covered the basics of what an LLC is, let's talk about why Wyoming has become such a popular state for forming one. Now, Wyoming has earned a reputation over the years as one of the most business-friendly states in the United States, and that reputation has attracted a lot of entrepreneurs who are looking for straightforward ways to structure their business. One of the biggest reasons people choose Wyoming is the tax environment. Wyoming does not have a state income tax, which means business owners often have a simpler tax situation compared to states that impose additional state-level taxes. Another advantage is privacy. Wyoming has relatively strong privacy protections for business owners, which means less personal information typically appears in public business records compared to some other states. The state is also known for having relatively low formation fees and straightforward compliance requirements, which makes maintaining an LLC there simpler than in other states with more complicated filing rules. Because of these factors, Wyoming has become particularly popular among freelancers, online business owners, consultants, and digital entrepreneurs who want a clean and simple company structure. With that context in mind, let's move into the actual process of forming your LLC. The first step when starting your Wyoming LLC is choosing a name for your business. Your LLC name must be unique and distinguishable from other companies that are already registered in Wyoming. In addition to being unique, the name must include a designator such as LLC or Limited Liability Company. Now, at first glance, this step may seem straightforward. You simply think of a name you like and move forward with the formation process. However, it's important to verify that the name you want is actually available before you file anything with the state. Wyoming provides an online business name search tool through the Secretary of State website that allows you to check existing company names. Taking a few minutes to run a search can prevent delays later on. If the name you choose is already registered or considered too similar to another company, the state will reject your filing. When that happens, you'll need to go back, choose a different name, and resubmit the paperwork. That's one of the small but frustrating issues that sometimes happens when people try to navigate the entire process on their own. For that reason, some entrepreneurs prefer using a formation service such as Northwest Registered Agent because their system checks name availability during the setup process and helps reduce the chances of running into delays. Once your business name is confirmed as available, you can move on to the next step. The next step in forming your Wyoming LLC is appointing a registered agent. Every LLC in Wyoming must have a registered agent with a physical address located in the state. The registered agent's role is to receive official legal documents and government notices on behalf of the company. If the state sends compliance notifications or if the business receives legal correspondence, those documents are delivered to the registered agent. While it is technically possible to act as your own registered agent if you live in Wyoming and meet the requirements, many entrepreneurs prefer using a professional registered agent service. One reason is privacy, since the registered agent address becomes part of the public record of the company. Another reason is reliability. A registered agent service ensures that important legal documents are received and handled properly. One service many entrepreneurs choose is Northwest Registered Agent, which provides a Wyoming registered agent address and also guides you through the LLC formation process step by step. If you want to take a closer look at their services, remember that I have a discount link for Northwest Registered Agent in the description and pinned comment below. Once your registered agent is in place, the next step is filing the document that officially creates your LLC. To officially form your LLC in Wyoming, you will need to file a document called the Articles of Organization with the Wyoming Secretary of State. This document includes basic information about your company, such as the LLC name, the registered agent information, and the mailing address associated with the business. If you decide to handle filing yourself, you will need to carefully follow the instructions on the state website and ensure that each field is completed directly. While the form itself is not extremely complicated, government filings often involve legal terminology and specific formatting requirements, which can feel a bit tedious if you're not used to dealing with them. Even small mistakes can sometimes delay the approval process or require corrections before the state finalizes your LLC. Because of that, many entrepreneurs choose to use a formation service such as Northwest Registered Agent. They prepare and submit formation documents on your behalf and help ensure everything meets state requirements. Once your LLC is officially formed, the next step is creating an operating agreement. An operating agreement is a document that outlines how the company will operate internally. It typically explains things like ownership structure, management responsibilities, and how profits will be distributed among the members of the LLC. Wyoming does not require you to file this document with the state, but having one is strongly recommended. An operating agreement helps reinforce the separation from you and the company and clarifies how the business should be run. Even if you're the only owner of the LLC, creating an operating agreement can still be helpful for maintaining proper records and structure. The next step after forming your LLC is obtaining an employer identification code, also known as an EIN. This number is issued by the IRS and functions as a tax identification number for your business. You will typically need an EIN if you want to open a business bank account, hire employees, or file certain tax documents. Applying for an EIN is free and can usually be completed online through the IRS website. Once you receive your EIN, the next step is opening a business bank account for your LLC. Keeping your business finances separate from your personal finances is extremely important. It helps maintain the liability protection provided by the LLC structure and makes accounting and tax preparation much easier as your business grows. Most banks will ask for your articles of organization, your EIN, and personal identification when opening a business account. Now, let's talk about the cost of starting an LLC in Wyoming. The state filing fee is around $100 if you file online. In addition to that, you will need a registered agent, which typically costs around $100 per year, depending on the provider you choose. Compared to many other states, Wyoming is considered one of the more affordable places to form and maintain an LLC. Another question people often ask is how long it takes for the LLC to be approved. If you submit your filing online, Wyoming typically processes LLC applications within a few business days. Compared to some states where approvals can take several weeks, Wyoming tends to be relatively fast. Before you rush off to file your LLC, there are a few common mistakes that new business owners sometimes make. One mistake is choosing a business name without verifying availability first. Another mistake is misunderstanding the registered agent requirement or using an address that does not meet the state requirements. Some entrepreneurs also forget about ongoing compliance obligations such as annual reports. Avoiding these mistakes early can save you a lot of time and frustration later. Once your LLC is approved, there are a few important steps you should take right away to ensure the business is properly set up and ready to operate. One of the first things you should do is create your operating agreement if you haven't already done so. This document establishes the structure of your company and helps clarify how the business will be managed moving forward. You should also apply for your EIN if you have not obtained one, since the number is necessary for many financial and tax-related activities. After that, opening a business bank account will allow you to keep your business finances separate from your personal finances and maintain clear financial records. Depending on the type of business you are running, you may also need to obtain licenses or permits before you begin operating. Now, as you can see, there are quite a few moving pieces involved in properly setting up your business after the LLC itself is approved. This is another reason many entrepreneurs choose to work with services like Northwest Registered Agent, since they help guide you through these steps and make sure your business is set up correctly from the start. And again, if you want to check them out, remember I do have a discount link for Northwest Registered Agent in the description and pinned comment below the video. Technically, you can complete all these steps yourself by navigating the Wyoming Secretary of State website and handling the paperwork manually. However, for many entrepreneurs, the process ends up taking more time than expected since it involves researching state requirements, interpreting legal terminology, and making sure each filing is completed correctly. Because of that, many business owners prefer using a formation service instead. Services like Northwest Registered Agent guide you through the setup process step by step, prepare the formation documents for you, and provide registered agent service so your company remains compliant with the state requirements. For many entrepreneurs, that convenience alone makes the process significantly easier. Starting an LLC in Wyoming might seem complicated at first, but when you break the process down into steps, it becomes much easier to understand. Generally speaking, you will need to choose a business name, appoint a registered agent, file the articles of organization, create an operating agreement, obtain an EIN, and open up a business bank account. Once those steps are completed, your Wyoming LLC will be officially registered and ready to operate. If you found this guide helpful, make sure to give the video a thumbs up so more entrepreneurs can find it too. And if you want more tutorials on starting a business, forming an LLC, and building a successful company, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more practical guides like this. If you have any questions about starting an LLC in Wyoming, feel free to leave them in the comments below because I read every comment and I'm always happy to help. And if you'd like a simple way to get your Wyoming LLC started, you can check out Northwest Registered Agent using the discount link in the description and pinned comment below this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.